X-Men is one of the most iconic superhero groups in comic book history. Through the pages of Marvel, they quickly found success and a large fan base. It was not long before they went from comic book pages to the mainstream in the form of various cartoons, and eventually the silver screen. Today, their reach extends worldwide and is one of the most recognizable groups. Competing against iconic superhero groups is no small task. From the Avengers to Fantastic Four and the Guardians of the Galaxy, the X-Men hold their own against all of them. While the history of the X-Men is often complicated, it is equally fascinating. Although we can give Marvel some of the credit for this success, Sony also shares in it. When they obtained the rights to a handful of Marvel IP titles, no one knew what to expect. However, Sony had a clear box office vision, and in early 2000 that vision came to life. The story of the X-Men begins in September 1963. From the genius mind of Stan Lee and the artistic prowess of Jack Kirby. Together they gave birth to a team of extraordinary individuals in X-Men issue 1. However, little did they know that this ensemble of mutants would evolve into one of Marvel's most iconic and beloved superhero teams. Together, the X-Men were introduced as a group of mutants with diverse abilities. They each possess unique powers thanks to the X gene, a genetic trait that sets them apart from regular humans. Professor Charles Xavier is the visionary and wheelchair-bound telepath. He uses this ability to gather the mutants under one roof at the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. In addition, his dream was to foster a peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans. Through this, he will pave the way for a world where everyone can live harmoniously despite their differences. The inaugural lineup of X-Men included some familiar faces. They include Cyclops Scott Summers, Marvel Girl Jean Grey, Beast Hank McCoy, Angel Warren Worthington Roman III, and Iceman Bobby Drake. As they joined forces, the X-Men faced many adversaries such as Magneto. He is the master of magnetism and a fellow mutant who believes in a more radical approach to mutant-human relations. The team's dynamics, personal struggles, and evolving relationships with each other and the outside world became the cornerstone of the X-Men narrative. As such, the early issues laid the foundation for what would become a sprawling universe. It introduced readers to the complexities of being a mutant in a world that feared and misunderstood them. In the mid-70s, the X-Men witnessed a turning point with the introduction of one of their most iconic story arcs, the Phoenix Saga. In Volume 101 to 108, the team faced the cosmic entity known as the Phoenix Force, which bonded with Jean Grey during a mission in space. Jean's transformation into the immensely powerful Phoenix marked a significant moment in X-Men history. However, this cosmic power came with a dark side. The storyline culminated in the tragic and unforgettable Dark Phoenix Saga Volume 129 to 138, where Jean Grey succumbed to the corrupting influence of the Phoenix Force. As a result, the X-Men faced an heartbreaking task. They had to battle one of their own, resulting in Jean's sacrificial death on the moon. The impact of the Phoenix Saga and Dark Phoenix resonates to this day. It showcases the emotional depth and storytelling prowess that sets X-Men apart in the comic book realm. As the 80s dawned, the X-Men experienced a renaissance under the creative genius of Chris Claremont. His decade-long run on the series transformed the X-Men into Marvel's flagship title. New characters were introduced, and existing ones were given layers of complexity. Wolverine, the gruff and adamantium-clawed Canadian, emerged as a fan favorite. His fierce demeanor and mysterious past added a compelling dynamic to the team. Other notable additions included Rogue, Gambit, and Psylocke, each bringing their unique abilities and personalities to the mix. The Mutant Massacre, Fall of the Mutants, and Inferno were some of the major crossover events that captivated readers during this era. These storylines expanded the X-Men universe, exploring the consequences of being different in a world that often rejected them. The 90s ushered in a new era for the X-Men, propelling them to unprecedented heights of popularity. The X-Men, the animated series, became a cultural phenomenon. In addition, They introduced the mutants to a wider audience and solidified their status as household names. The creative landscape of the comics mirrored the energy of the 90s with bold storylines and dynamic art. The iconic X-Men Volume 1 1991, written by Chris Claremont and illustrated by Jim Lee, stands as one of the best-selling comic issues of all time, exemplifying the era's impact. The Age of Apocalypse storyline 1995 provided a gripping alternate reality tale. In it, Professor X's son, Legion, inadvertently creates a dystopian world ruled by apocalypse. This narrative experiment showcased the creative freedom inherent in the X-Men universe. As the 2000s unfolded, they continued to evolve, both in the comics and on the silver screen. The turn of the century saw a rejuvenated interest in the mutant heroes, with Grant Morrison's New X-Men run bringing a fresh perspective to the series. The iconic Astonishing X-Men run by Joss Whedon and John Cassaday further solidified the team's enduring appeal. Meanwhile, in Hollywood, the X-Men film franchise took flight with the release of X-Men in 2000. The success of the film paved the way for a new era of superhero cinema, ultimately influencing the landscape of the comic book industry. In 2019, writer Jonathan Hickman took the helm, delivering a groundbreaking narrative in the form of House of X and Powers of X. These interconnected series redefined the X-Men's status quo, introducing bold ideas and reshaping the very fabric of mutant society. Hickman's intricate storytelling and visionary approach breathed new life into the X-Men franchise, captivating both longtime fans and newcomers alike. The narrative shifted to the mysterious island of Krakoa, where mutants found sanctuary and established their own nation-state. The creation of the Krakoan resurrection protocols allowed mutants to be resurrected, effectively removing the fear of death from their existence. This paradigm shift in the X-Men mythos challenged conventional superhero storytelling, exploring themes of identity, mortality, and the consequences of godlike powers. It is evident that this remarkable team has left an indelible mark on the world of comics. From their humble beginnings in 1963 to the groundbreaking narratives of the present day, the X-Men have stood the test of time. They have captivated generations of readers with their relatable struggles, diverse characters, and unparalleled adventures. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or a newcomer eager to explore the mutant-filled universe, there's always something magical about the X-Men that keeps us coming back for more. The story of the X-Men is long from over. As we enter a new age of Marvel, there is still plenty to look forward to.